Well, Liz, here we are again.
Once again.
Yeah, it's a great day, too.
What a wonderful day for the cars and croissants in downtown Summit.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. And they're coming in. Listen to them.
I know. Listen to those engines roaring.
The rumble and the roar.
Oh, my gosh. I am so excited to talk to some of these guys and see how they're spending. Obviously, they're spending their Father's Day here with cars and croissants. But it'll be exciting to see who else is here.
You know, I see a lot of the other cars, same cars that we had in years past, but they only come out once a year, so it's great to see them.
Once a year for us.
Once a year for us. That's
so
right.
Let's take a look and
okay.
Let's have fun.
Let's go.
All righty. So I'm with Faisal from Flemington. Tell me about your sparkly golden car.
So this is a Nissan GTR. It's a 2012, actually, and little special thing about this is that it's vinyl wrapped. The original color is black, actually. So yeah, as you can see, it's a gold chrome vinyl. It's actually got some work done to it. Makes about 700 horsepower. It's definitely very loud and a little bit showy, but hey, you know, it's a little unique, so that's why I chose to kind of change it up.
So do you change the vinyl wrapping often, or are you just...
Well, this is my first time vinyl wrapping the car. I think I had it done about probably a year and a half ago. And yeah, it's been holding up pretty great. You know, I daily drive the car, actually.
Beautiful.
And it's been holding up great. So, yeah.
So, was this your high school fantasy car?
Oh yeah, this has been my dream car for a long time.
When you finally got the keys.
Yep.
What was
it was one of the greatest feelings ever, definitely. Like just
wonderful.
You know, just having that dream come true you can't really, you know, I guess make it up. There's no other feeling like it, you know.
I love it. I love it. And it goes, don't catch feelings.
Yeah, don't catch feelings.
There you go.
Yep.
All in one.
Yep, all together.
All together. Thank you and enjoy. Drive safely.
Yep, definitely.
You know,
definitely.
it's a fast one.
Yep, thank you very
if
much.
I see you on 78, I'm pulling over. Way over.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Well, guess what? I'm here with William, and we have a very unusual car here, and we have an unusual driver also who's all set up for this morning. William, tell us a little bit about your car.
Well, you know, it's Father's Day, so I figured this morning would be a great father-son drive experience. This is a car I've recently acquired in the fall. It's essentially a 1957 Carrera GT GS speedster-like body, but it's actually officially badged as a Carrera. And it's a tribute car. That means it has a lot of components from the era, and it was put together by hand probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I absolutely love it. I have a few cars that I really enjoy, and this is by far the one I enjoy driving, listening to, and experiencing the most, even though it's by far the least amount of horsepower. It's just a joy to drive.
Well, you look period correct in it.
Oh, awesome.
And
Nice.
you really make a top-notch appearance. So,
Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing it with us. Appreciate it very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name's Ray?
Ray Paterick, yes.
So I hear you have an interesting profession.
I do mostly Porsches, but we have a restoration shop in Chatham, about 5 minutes away.
Okay.
And we do mostly just older sports cars.
Well, tell me about your beautiful older sports car. Right
Well, this
here.
is a 1957 Triumph TR3 with the small mouth. They stopped the small mouth in 57 and went to the wide grille. They called it the dollar smile because the cars were selling so well back then.
Yeah.
And it's goes way back. I know this car since high school. It was my girlfriend's car.
No way.
Yeah, and I have.
Do you still have?
I still have the pink slip from 1972 on it.
Get out. How good.
Yeah, and then it was. She called me up in 1980 and said it was going to go to the junkyard because it was laying in her mother's garage, and it was a wreck. It was a wreck in high school. We painted it in her garage.
Hey,
put
listen,
it on.
aren't you happy you ended nicely with your girlfriend?
Yeah,
She called
yes.
you up.
She still talks to my wife.
A beautiful thing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And
you're welcome.
Hopefully we'll see a bunch of your other cars that you restored here.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I'm here with Roger now, and Roger's going to tell us a little bit about these absolutely gorgeous cars.
Well, we are a dealership in Summit, New Jersey. We've been in town for about 4 years selling Aston Martins, and we just acquired the beautiful McLaren right here behind you.
Right.
The Aston Martin has been in town, as I said, for 4 years.
Well, thanks very much, Roger.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'm with Nick. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Tell me about this beauty.
It's a Mini 30. It's got an upgraded motor. It's my classic. So.
What year is it?
1967.
1967.
Yeah.
A couple years older than me, and I'm sure it's a couple years older
It's a
than you.
couple years older than me too. Yeah.
So tell me about the history of the car.
So my dad had it since I was a little boy, and when I bought my house here in Jersey, he brought it over. He said, "It's yours now." He went and bought himself a Porsche 911. And hopefully
Nice
I could do
little
this. Yeah, hopefully I could do the same thing to my son when I get older.
Nice. So tell me the best memory you have with this car.
Actually, it's a recent one. We went to a mini meet East back in Maryland about 3 years ago, and my son and my wife came with me, and we had a blast. We spent the whole weekend around other minis, and we did all kinds of cool stuff. So
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your Father's Day with us.
Thank you.
And enjoy your Mini.
Thank you.
Well, guess what? I am here now with Ed and Carly with this beautiful Rolls-Royce. Ed, tell us a little bit about the car, please.
What you're looking at is a 1911 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. Silver Ghosts were the first model by Rolls, and they were made from 1907 to 1926. And although this car is very nice to look at, it is completely, it's authentic, it's original, it has been repainted, but all the parts are original, the body's original, and we've driven this car all over the world. It just came back from England 3 days ago, and I actually found it in England about 30 years ago. And the person who owned it, I was after him for 11 years to get the car, and I finally bought the car in 2000.
That's a great story, Ed.
Well, it's the way they are. People always ask, where did you find the car? And the answer are, cars like these were never lost. They've been owned in continual lineage, and as a collector, you join a club, you get involved, you hear about a car, you follow a car, and you buy a car.
Do you have other cars of the same make?
Yes, I have a 2 years newer, a 1913 Rolls, which was sort of a factory team car from the most famous race in the world, which was the Austrian Alpine Trials of 1913. That's been reenacted 3 times on the 80th, the 90th, and the 100th anniversary. I participated in one of those, and it was like a 2,000-mile run through the Alps.
Well, you guys look
Perfect.
great in the car. I'm sure you enjoy that too, Carly,
it's
right?
fabulous. Yeah, it's
Fabulous.
a lovely car.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing
It
it
was
with
a
us.
pleasure talking to you.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
I'm with Stu with his Dodge Viper RT10. Tell me about your beautiful car besides the advertisement.
Well, I purchased the car in 2006, and believe it or not, the car only has 3,700 miles on it.
Obviously, you're not enjoying this car as much as you could be.
It just goes to events like this. They call it a garage queen. It goes to car shows only.
You don't take it out on a drive on a beautiful day in the countryside?
I do about 3 or 4 times a year, but not for much more than 30 or 40 miles. I know, it's a shame.
Come on.
It's true. My son and I are the ones that take it out 3 or 4 times a year in car shows. That's all we do. Try to, from a collectability standpoint, you want to keep the miles low.
Okay. Well, it seems it has, what, 5 under, let's see.
Sign says under 5 because I have 3,700 and I never plan on going more than 5.
Okay. All right. Cool. What's your fondest memory about with this car?
Just the regular drives my son and I have together.
Yeah.
It's like our little opportunity to bond.
Nice.
And one day he thinks he's going to get it, which I'm still not sure if I'm going to allow that, but it's a tough car to drive. It's a very powerful car.
Well, that's where the fatherly experience comes into play, and you can teach him how to drive that car safely.
Well, I've been working on that. He's taken it out 3 times with me in the car, but very, very carefully.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen, that's another bonding experience, teaching him how to drive this beautiful car.
Thank you. And on Father's Day, what better opportunity to have and hang out with my son and his car and my car and enjoy a beautiful day with great cars.
Wonderful. And thank you for sharing your Father's Day
My
with
pleasure.
us and your car as well.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
I'm with Skip and Kathy from Montville. Tell me about your beautiful Corvette that doesn't even have plates on it yet. How exciting!
2 weeks old.
It's 2 weeks old. I sold a 2014 2 weeks ago with 953 miles on it. It was 5 years old, and I bought this. And I have 160 miles on it now, so I'm getting caught up to my vet that was 5 years old.
So tell me about this model.
That's the Grand Sport.
Is it fast, fast, fast?
Is it fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fast. It's fast. It's a convertible. My last one was a coupe.
Okay.
And I wanted a convertible.
It's beautiful.
It's probably the nicest vet I've ever had.
Now, are you into vet? Like, is that something that you love?
This is my 8th vet.
Your 8th. Wow. When did you start collecting them?
74.
Good for you.
So how old does that make me? How could it be 74 when I'm only 40?
I know, me too. It's amazing how it just like the clock just turns back.
I know.
But tell me why you've been into what was your passion with Corvettes?
Well, I was always in the automotive business.
Okay.
And I just always have loved cars.
Yeah.
And I've always loved Corvettes. So.
It's a passion people have. You know?
Yeah. It is a beautiful car. I must tell you, it's one of those cars that every time I see it, you just like stop and just look. Oh my God, it's a beautiful American car.
It sure is.
It's wonderful.
It is.
Wonderful. So drive it in good health, and hopefully you drive it often.
He promised me he would this time.
Why don't you drive it?
Maybe I will.
Yes, you should.
No, I thought
Granted, yes, it is Father's Day, but you can certainly
Right.
all the other days.
I thought we were friends.
We are, but
No ride now for you.
no ride for me.
No ride for you.
Well, enjoy your Corvette.
Thank you.
And what a perfect day to have the top down
God,
and just
perfect.
enjoy.
Yeah.
Next time you see me, I'll be on Sports Center.
Okay. And probably have another Corvette.
Maybe.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you again,
All
guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right now, I am with Koren, and we have a very unusual car here. We have a 66 Coupe de Ville, right?
Coupe de Ville on full air ride,
Yep.
little restored.
Tell us a little bit about the car.
The car has had a long history, but needless to say, it's been sold to pay for my engagement ring and then repurchased again and fixed up years later after we saved up some money. But this is our family ride. We take it out for ice cream. The kids love it. It's doesn't always start, but it definitely has sentimental value. We hope to keep it for a long time.
That's what happens with cars like this. You
Yes,
get them
and it's hard to find parts and keep them up to date, but we bring it out here every year for the Summit Car Show. My husband is adamant about coming and supporting, and we have another car as well that we like to show.
in fact, you have another car right behind this
Yes,
one.
we do. We have an R8. It's an Audi supercharged R8. We have a little bit of both. So we got the classic vintage, and then we got the modern supercharged here. So a little bit of everything. My husband loves taking this one out as well. This is for our company, though. He shows it for Drive Auto Works in Mountainside.
What year is this car?
2017.
Okay.
V10.
V10. Okay. Do you get to drive it once in a while?
I do. I actually took it out to my high school reunion, which was really nice. I got to show it off a little bit. Of course, it's a company car, but nobody needs to know that.
They're both beautiful.
The kids like it because it makes a lot of noise, so it goes fast,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
it's got more bark than bite.
So totally different, but
Totally different. That's like my husband and I, vintage and modern.
yeah, but it works, right?
Yes, it does. We're very happy to be here.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing the cars with us.
Thank you for having us.
I'm with Jay from West Orange. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. On a day like today, how can you not be?
And happy Father's Day.
Oh, yes, that too. How can you forget? Well, doing what a father wants to do on a Sunday with his car.
Enjoying his toys.
to say the least.
So tell me about your beautiful toy.
My beautiful toy is a 1941 Buick Roadmaster. And at the time, a lot of people remember these cars as they called them doctors' cars. Doctors didn't want to roll up to your house or anywhere in a big caddy or something.
Okay.
So they stayed with the Buick. Because as much as the General Motors cars, which were 5 or 6 different brands, this is the best Buick you could get into without then now going to a Cadillac. If you wanted anything nicer than this, had to be a Cadillac. Yeah. So I remember them as doctors' cars. Sure.
So when did you acquire it?
I've had this about 7 years. I bought it as it is, as you see it. All I do is keep it clean and running nicely. And again, it was somebody else's labor of love. And they took care of it and you know, did their due diligence, as they say, to keep running. I mean, look around you, see what, you know, like this thing next to us, that's amazing. A car from the 19-teens. It's enough driving a 76-year-old car now.
Yeah, right?
Got a 76-year-old car now.
But what I really appreciate about you and your car is you appreciate it, you drive it.
You know what makes it worth all that much more is when somebody else appreciates it. When somebody else, where you're driving and throws a thumb out the window or whatever, and you know, that's what makes it worthwhile, is somebody else coming up and appreciating. You know, obviously it's a whole different realm of automobile than what you see here. You know, these cars cost a lot more than I ever made in 1 year, let alone, you know, so you come up and you look, yeah, that's nice, you know. What'd you need to get that car? A checkbook. Okay. So it's a different, again, labor of love. As you just said, you meet people, they take them out 3 times a year. I take this out 3 times a week.
Love it.
You bet.
It's all about enjoying your life.
Yeah, I go by people on the parkway at 70 miles. They pinch themselves. They think they're dreaming. Wave as I go by. I love it. Just a big kid. I'm just a big kid.
I know. I like that Johnny Hot Dogs.
It's a great place. You got to go there.
Next time, bring the hot dogs with you.
Oh, now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Thank you for
it's a pleasure.
sharing
Thank
your
you.
car with us.
See,
and
you
sharing
made
your
my day.
Oh.
You absolutely made my day. Thank you again so much.
You're welcome. Nice meeting you.
Have fun. Pleasure meeting you.
Bye.
I'm here with Ted and this absolutely gorgeous blue Cobra. Ted, tell us a little bit about this car, you know, when you got it and what it is.
Yeah, the Cobra was built about 7.5, 8 years ago. The body and frame are from Factory 5 Racing in Massachusetts. It was essentially a ground-up build. We put a 351 Windsor engine in it, puts out about 420 horsepower. It's got a Tramac 5-speed and all modern running gear. I've had the car since it was new for about 7 years now, plus after the build, and it's been an absolutely bulletproof car. We put it through a spring maintenance each year, and during the time that I've had it, I've replaced the plugs once in it and put new tires on it, but other than that, it's just been a great car, fun to drive.
Magnificent automobile, and it's very, very difficult to tell it from an actual Cobra.
Yeah, no, they're essentially built to the original specs. This particular body style was the second iteration of the Cobra that Carroll Shelby built on the AC from England originally, and these they used to put the 427 side oilers in them with the 4-speed transmission, based upon the fact that I can put the engine back further for handling purposes. I chose to go with a small block, and then also, of course, with the Tramac 5-speed, it's a lot better out on the road.
And fuel mileage. You have a 50-50 weight distribution here, roughly?
Not quite 50-50. I'd say it's probably about 60-40.
Okay.
But it certainly puts all of the weight in back of the front axle.
Sure.
So from a handling point of view, it does a lot better.
That's great. And you belong to a Cobra club as well.
Yes, I do. It's a group of similar inclined people. We get together once a month for a diner breakfast and drive, and then we have about 4 to 5 major events a year for driving. And we normally get anywhere from the neighborhood of about 30 to 35 up to 50 Cobras out.
That must be quite a scene when they all get out on the road.
Well, especially when you're going through some of the back roads in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and you've got about that many, Cobras streaming through the countryside.
I can only imagine. Well, thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Sure, appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
I'm with Tony from Clifton. Tell me about your beautiful 911.
This is a 1994 964 turbo 3.6. It's a relatively rare car, actually one of the more rare air-cooled cars ever made.
Yeah.
They imported 335 of these to the United States in the 1 year of 1994. It's one of 3 that were made in this cobalt blue color, which I consider to be a very special color.
Beautiful.
And it's the only one with a black interior. Very rare. These cars are unfortunately being exported out of the country at a rather alarming rate, so there are very few of them left. But it's got all the character and old school feel that you want from an air-cooled car.
Yeah.
It's the last of the single turbo rear-wheel drive, they used to call them widowmakers. They're more of a monster, but they really are a relatively tame car to drive if you use your head and drive it properly. Fast, by today's standards, maybe. It doesn't matter. It's just a pleasure to drive. And
do you drive it often?
Lately I've been driving it a lot more. The market value's kind of been fluctuating, and these things kind of skyrocketed.
They did.
And I decided for a while I have other cars that I've been driving, and I said, let me just take.
But they're
those
not as
out.
fun.
Well, they are. They are.
Come on, work with me.
Well, they are. They're fun in a different way.
Okay.
But this car is, I just said, you have to take them out. You have to drive them. You have to enjoy them as much as possible. And on a day like today, what's better than driving around and looking at beautiful cars and sharing your experiences? So, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased that I was able to find this car. Many people have tried to buy it from me, but I'm not ready to do that quite yet. So we'll see where things go.
Well, thank you for sharing your beautiful car with us. And
Thank you very much.
Day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I enjoyed this today.
I'm with the tongue twister, Mike. From Morristown. Mustang Mike from Morristown.
With the Mach 1. Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Say that 3 times fast.
I will try not to. Tell me about your beautiful Mustang.
Well, I've had it for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Found it at a classic car dealership down in Maryland. Basically had everything I was looking for in the car. It's a numbers matching Gorbachev 428 Ram Air engine 4-speed car. The thing that's kind of unique about it is it's got a white interior, and only about 10% of the red Mustang Mach 1s in 1969 were built with white interiors. Most had black. So it was took a little bit, about 6 months to find one.
Yeah.
But when I did, it kind of checked off all the boxes. So went down and bought it.
How often do you drive it?
Oh, I drive it quite a bit, particularly in the sun. It's meant to be driven. Beautiful. I put about 7,000 miles on it in 2 years.
Okay, that's not
so,
bad.
Yeah, take it to shows and take it out on cruises, and then even in the winter, on decent days when there's no snow or ice on the road, we'll take it out.
So tell me about your favorite memory about driving your car.
I think just the fact that it gets so much attention. I get a lot of thumbs up, people beeping their horns at shows like this. A lot of people stop by, have questions, or of course they all want to remember that they had a car similar to that, and sorry they let it go, etc.
Right.
So I think it's just sharing with other people is part of the fun of having a car like this.
Now, was this your high school dream car?
Well, actually, I was working for Ford back in the day when this came out.
Okay.
Along with the Boss 302, Boss 429, and drove one of the first ones that was there. So, but then I never had another. I didn't have one as a regular car.
Okay.
And I left Ford, did a lot of other things, drove a lot of other cars, and then I retired. And from my bucket list, I decided that this was the car that I wanted to get.
Now, that's an amazing bucket list choice.
Yes, it was. And it was expensive as it was my one and done car. So
there you go. And you enjoy it. So that's most important.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing your Father's Day with us and your beautiful, 69 Mustang.
Well, right now I'm here with Jim and this absolutely gorgeous Jaguar. Jim, tell us a little bit about this car and the origin of it and how you got it.
Well, it's a 1962 Jaguar XKE. That was the second year this car was made. I found this car in Scottsdale, Arizona. I was able to buy it from the original owner, and it was his love of his life. He took very good care of it, as you can see. Did some restoration on it, and I've had it for 4 years. Wow. And I drive it every chance I get. It's a lovely car to drive. Has only 34,000 miles on it.
That's it.
That's it.
I would drive it too. It's just, you don't often see them with the white walls on.
Believe it or not, when they were brought to the United States, they came with white walls. So this is absolutely original the way it was imported to the United States.
Really? Mm-hmm. It is absolutely gorgeous. How many miles a year you put on it, roughly?
Oh, I put maybe 500 miles.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, it goes to a lot of shows, I'm sure.
No, I try not to. Yeah, actually, I just like to drive it.
Well, I'm sure glad you brought it here today.
It was a pleasure. It's a great show.
Thanks very much for sharing it with us.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm with Bill and Jason from Piscataway. How you guys doing?
Good.
Happy Father's Day. Thank you for sharing your beautiful car with us. Tell us about your 69 Charger.
69 Charger. I acquired it, I would say, around 2004. It was primarily just a shell of a car, just a parts car, really.
Okay.
Really, a lot of rust, a lot of damage, and needed to be resurrected.
How long did it take you to resurrect
About 5 years on and off.
Wow, you're a patient guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it needed a lot. 5 years worth.
Was that original color, or is that something?
No, the original color was like a medium green metallic, almost like a forest green metallic.
Yeah.
But it needed to be repainted and everything. I just wanted to do something different with the car, and so just talked to my wife. We kind of came up with some ideas, and that's what we came up with.
Okay. What's the best memory about driving your car so far?
Just a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun to take out and just go out for a day or go to a cruise or go to a show and bring the kids and have a good time.
Now, how many miles have you put on it since you bought it?
I would say about 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, not a lot.
You're very ginger with it. How many miles does it have now?
It has just 2,000. We set the odometer back to 0 because everything on the car is all new. So
Gotcha.
it's essentially just driving like a new car. Put it up at 0. So new engine, new transmission, new everything.
It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Lovingly restored.
Thank you.
Well, Liz, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. We're back where we began.
And I have to say, of all the years that we've done this together, this is probably the nicest weather, the nicest cars, the largest number of cars.
Right, the biggest outcome so far.
And just a great group of people.
Yeah, and you know what? What a wonderful way to celebrate Father's Day.
Yeah, it is.
Every year in Downtown Summit.
And it's always a pleasure to do this with you.
Thank you.
And I hope we have many more years.
Absolutely. Hopefully one day we're going to drive in both with like a really fancy, smancy
Wouldn't
car.
that be something?
Right?
Huh?
And not give it back. Not give it back.
Well, I hope our audience enjoys everything as much as we did doing it.
Yes.
So
we'll see you next year.
Okay.
Happy
Take
Father's
care.
Day.